The Olivier Rebbot Award for Best Photography in Magazines or Books, sponsored by Newsweek this year, has been won by Robert Nickelsberg for his book, Afghanistan, A Distant War. It gives us a visual history of Afghanistan from the Soviet Army withdrawal in 1988 to the rise of Islamic fundamentalism, the U.S. invasion, and of course the current U.S. military withdrawal. When notified of this win, Robert was in India, but tonight he comes to us from the faraway borough of Brooklyn.
Thank you very much. This is a great honor and a very episodic journey through 25 years of working and living in South Asia, particularly Afghanistan. I never thought I would live in India, which is part of South Asia and the 6 countries, including Afghanistan, but it was a professional's delight to settle there in 1987, 1988. Pakistan was under martial law. Afghanistan had the Soviet army there. Bangladesh was under martial law. Kashmir was about to begin its insurgency, and Sri Lanka had a very evil civil war beginning. So professionally, it was excellent. Personally, it was extremely difficult. We had to smuggle in virtually everything into India in order to meet the needs for Time magazine. And I want to, of course, thank the editors of Time for having supported this great endeavor out of the Bureau. We could hide from the New York bosses by being 9 hours ahead and only were available on telex machines. And it was very easy to unplug a telex machine. But this project began after 2009 when I had really had enough of embeds, and thanks to the editors at the New York Times who supported my endeavors in the latter part post 9/11. I was visited by a friend and neighbor, Carol Deisinger, who came across and wondered if I had any images of the Soviet army occupying Afghanistan because she was doing a movie. And I said yes and pointed to a big trunk behind me. They're somewhere in there. She was kind enough to give me a very bright and young intern who was a paid intern, and we found some very interesting photographs, and year by year I peeled back the onion, and literally that is the way that that country needs to be approached, year by year in a chronological timeline. Otherwise it's just a mess and a jumble, and incredibly important to know every single detail about the ethnicity, the backing, and how the great game continues to this day. And it's available in this book, which I feel is a great, not only a cumulative effort from the different editors at Time and the New York Times and my family and friends who collaborated, in particular the writers. John Lee Anderson is here tonight, he's one of the essayists. But it's really a place that will continue to be important, and it's now spun off its own loose electron in the form of training ground for Syria. So if you maintain and persist with a story, and that's what we are as journalists and photographers, we're storytellers, this is what can come of it. Thank you very much.